Hi, welcome to RCKicks. On today's shows, we're going to be checking out this, a Cougar 2 vintage racing buggy. Now, quite recently, Schumacher put out the Cougar Classic, which I have here, and it's fantastic to be able to get my hands on one of these. Now, this was gifted, believe it or not, to the show by Richard from Cumbria. So a massive thank you to Richard for sending this one over. And I am ecstatic, to be fair. It's absolutely gorgeous. I must admit, this body is probably one of the bodies I like the most on the Cougar. It's very swept back. Also, he sent me over a brand new body as well. So yes, this one has been driven, so it's going to need a bit of love. Now, I love the ruby red chassis, and I hope to restore that. A few people that have posted up that you can restore them by rubbing them down, sanding them, and then painting them up. So we're going to do that. There is missing a few parts, and yes, they are a bit difficult to get hold of. Now, before we go into that, let's just cover some of the basics of the Cougar 2 if you don't know already. Now, there was 3 original versions that came out in 1991. Sorry, I'm going to have to refer to my notes here. The first one was the Cougar 2 Team, which is this one. Now, this came with upgraded metal drive shafts, and it also come with full bearings. Now, if you look on the back there, you'll notice that it's actually plastic. Now, this car itself doesn't have those, so I need to source some. This is where it gets a little bit difficult. Now, there is one set of used metal drive shafts on eBay. How much would you say for a set of used drive shafts for an RC car? Yeah, they want £100. So of course I'm not spending £100 on a set of used drive shafts. So I need to find some. So if you know anybody that wants to sell some Cougar 2 drive shafts, metal ones, let me know, as I've got money waiting, but just not £100. The other thing that's really difficult for this is to get hold of the correct rims. Now, these are rims that I had left over. It came with no wheels and tires at all, so I just put these on. These, I think, from my Cougar, or they could be from the Cougar Classic. My Cougar, sorry, or they could be from the Top Cat. I'm not sure, can't remember. Anyway, so I put these on for now, but sourcing some rims is going to be another challenge as well. So if you've got some, let me know. Otherwise, I'm not too worried about the rims. The actual drive shafts I'd like to get, but the rims, well, I mean, I could get a set of these in white that's very close. So they're like a 2-piece wheel, but anyway, so the second one was the Cougar 2 Racing, and that's U4301. Now, that came with a slipper clutch and also a set of springs, a couple of sets, so that you could change them over for racing. Then there was the Cougar 2 Sport, which was the low-cost version, which was U429H. This is U431J. Then in 1992, we got 2 versions, apparently, of a Cougar Works. One of them had a roller drive shafts, and also was ball race steering, and then the other one wasn't. Now, the chassis apparently was purple on that one, which also looks really nice as well, to be fair. So I guess the Works ones are the really desirable ones out of all of them, but looking online, there isn't that many, and they're quite collectible as well. So my plan is, I want to restore this back to Shelf Queen if I can, so I think I'll dismantle it, paint the chassis. I need to try and match the colour if I can, but I think I can take it to a car paint shop and they will match that colour. But if you have already done that and you know what colour it is, let me know in the comments. Then I also need to get the little mounts for the spoiler. The body itself was from Penguin, and that's fine, that's going to be alright. There's no way you're going to find a vintage one, so I'll get the spoiler on, so that will fix that. Motor and electronics, that's fine. Everything else seems to be okay. The front suspension on this side, the damper seems to be leaking oil, so I'll have to take that apart and put it back together again. But apart from that, it looks to be pretty complete. Let me just take the body off. Now, it's a 2-part body, which, because they went to a much taller front end, you couldn't get the actual body to go through it. I've seen quite a few people do that to the Cougar Classic as well, and I'm guessing this is the one you actually take to racing if you're doing vintage racing, as it's got the much bigger towers at the front. Here's the, I don't know if you can see that, I'll cut to some shots of it. Now, this is an upgraded Cougar. It's got the big bore shocks from Schumacher, which are much later. Obviously, the Cougar 2 had different shocks fitted as well. to the Cougar. Also, this cover looks to be missing a part, so I might have to get a new one of those, but they're easy to find. I might even have one floating around. The arms have changed from the Cougar. You can see where they've upgraded them, and they put extra span across them to make them stronger. The front arms are completely flat across the bottom as well. And you can see how it's evolved from the Cougar Classic. I think the steering is the same, unless you get the ball bearing steering in the Works one. So there you go. So that will be back on the show, but I've got to hunt down a few bits and pieces first. It's gonna be a while, as I've got a few other projects. This kind of came out of the blue as a big surprise, but so please be patient. Don't expect it to be on the show in a week, all being restored. I want to finish off some other projects before I come back to this one, but I wanted to show it to you as it just came in as a massive surprise. But I think we can turn this back into a beautiful shelf queen with a little bit of help from you out there. Anyway, thanks so much. Please like and subscribe. See you on the next one. Bye bye.